You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
So we're out and about, and we're at the bee farm, and we're doing an interview all about the Sheppey bowmen. We're firstly joined with Lee, who we often speak to at different times. Lee, it's good to speak to you first.
Hey, it's good to speak to you again.
Now, when I arrived here, you were out on the field, and I think you were just finishing off for your sort of midday break. But I was wondering if you could tell listeners what exactly you were doing.
Right, what we was doing was known as shooting at the marks. Basically, there'll be a mark which will be like a shield. That'll be placed out at a distance, probably around about 130 yards from the shoot line. And the idea is to get arrows as close to it as possible. We have 3 scoring zones, which is half a bow length, which is 12 points, and then a further bow length is 7 points, and then another bow and a half length after that is 3 points. Basically, this all came about back in the times when men had to practice archery after church. And so they'd be carrying their bows along the country lanes, and they'd find something to shoot at just as a little bit of practice before going to church.
So, sort of looking into the history and then recovering, that is important to what you do?
Yeah, we tend to just concentrate on traditional forms of archery. So we don't have sights, we don't have counterweights and long rods and whatever else and silly pulleys and all that. We just have a bent stick with a piece of string. That's basically what we do. We just want to promote sort of like traditional uses of archery. We most of us shoot longbows. We have a couple of Hungarian horse bows in the club, and also 1 or 2 flat bows.
So do you make your own bows, or are they something you buy, or do you alter them to make them work specially for you?
I have one bow that I made myself, one bow that I bought off someone. Most of the bows in the club have been bought. They are easy enough to get hold of, though maybe they can be expensive, but it really depends on what you want from the bow. Once you've got it, whether you've made it yourself, you want to really keep it as you got it, so that you don't really want to alter anything on it. It could be risky, because basically it is just a bent piece of wood and it'll break if you do too much wrong with it. So.
We are out and about at the moment. We're speaking to the Sheppey bowmen right here at BRFM on the Monday Night Community Show. We are out and about. We're in Brambledown at the bee farm, and we're talking to the Sheppey bowmen. Now, one of the things, as well as your bows, of course, there's other equipment to it, like the arrows and things like that. Could you tell us a bit more about that, Lee?
Well, we tend to make our own arrows as well. It's pretty easy, because you can buy shafts ready splined so that they match the weight of the bow, and then you get the points, and you can get pre-cut fletchings, or you can buy full-length feathers which you can cut to shape, and you can just customise your arrows as much as you like. I made my arm brace, which stops my inner arm getting nasty bruises if I hold the bow wrong and get slapped by the string. My quiver I made myself, although you can buy them cheap enough. So it's a really fun thing to do. It's really nice, to be honest, to be able to stand there with your equipment and say, yeah, I made this. Yeah.
And I noticed the arm protector is personalised as well.
Yeah, I put a stag's head on it, because I do like stags. The symbol at the top represents the triple goddess. So yeah, I've done that with a pyrography kit. I bought a nice thick piece of leather up at Military Odyssey a couple of years ago, and made some holes in it for the laces, and then burnt my design on it.
So how long have you been doing this then?
Yeah, I've actually been involved with archery itself. I first started shooting about 20 years ago, although I did stop for 10 or 15 years because there was no club about. Then there was a club formed down near where I live, so I joined them, but then they shoot on a Friday night. I wasn't able to go, not every night because of shifts and that, so I decided to come here. The other club also like to concentrate on the more modern equipment, the recurve stuff, what you see in the Olympics. So we came here and we decided to form a club just for traditional archery.
We are talking to Lee right here at BRFM at the moment. So we are out and about and we're talking to the Sheppey bowmen here at BRFM on the Monday Night Community Show. Lee, if people are interested in finding out more, or perhaps they'd like to come along and have a go, are there sort of any contact details or ways they can do that?
Well, we have an official website. The address is www.sheppeybowmen.btck.co.uk. We do have a Facebook page, which is basically just Sheppey Bowmen. It's best if people contact us before coming down here, basically because it's not really safe to have people walking around unattended. So yeah, I mean, if somebody's interested, if they contact us, we're happy to let them know when we're down here next, and then they can come along and play with us, basically.
Now, you were telling me that you're all members of an association, is that right?
Yeah, we're all members of the ILAA, which is the International Longbow Archers Association. We get to go off on shoots with them sort of like once a month or so. We go off to a nice country estate somewhere, and they let us wander around their field loosing off arrows. That's roving marks, which is very similar to playing golf, really. But he doesn't tell us, or we're not told how far away the mark is. He just points out where it is, and then we shoot at it. Occasionally he'll point out the mark, march us back a few yards, and so we can no longer see it because it's over the brow of a hill. But this is all, it's all good fun, and it all sort of harks back to, like, you may not know exactly where the enemy is, or the enemy may well be hidden behind the hill or behind a wall or something. So it just helps you to learn how to judge the distances. It's all basically shooting by instinct.
So how often do you practice?
We try and get down to the bee farm once a fortnight on a Sunday, although occasionally something crops up and we have to move the date, things like that. But yeah, as a general rule, it's once a fortnight.
And if you were interested in coming along, and the listeners, for instance, spoke to you and you invited them down, do they need equipment, or do you initially lend it and then help them to get their own?
We do have a few bows that people could borrow to try out and practice. We do prefer people to get their own stuff as soon as they can, and we can advise the best ways and the best places to get the equipment. So yeah, we'll do all we can to help anyone who's interested.
Lee, as always, thank you very much for letting me come down and see you, doing what you do, and also taking the time out to speak to me as well.
It's not a problem.